Hello everyone, it's Swamp Momma, and we're here with The Path That You're On for the next 3 days tarot reading. So we have 3 piles here. We are just showing the back of the cards. This is the Magick Cottage Oracle. Pile 1, your crystal is a rainbow fluorite. Pile 2, your tower is a Caribbean calcite tower. In pile 3, you have a smoky quartz tower. Okay, so if you would like to take a few more minutes to decide which pile you would like, go ahead and pause the video, or else we'll meet you at your pile. Welcome, pile 1, to your reading for the next 3 days, what path you are on. The card you chose is Well-Being. This is the Magick Cottage Oracle. And I want to read to you real quick the little story from this card. So that right there. Okay. As a young apprentice magical hare, I was indeed blessed to have Chatsworth as my master teacher and friend. Respected as one of the wisest of all magical hares, I often wondered why he had chosen such an obvious clodabus like me to train in the ways of magic. Chatsworth, I now realize, was well aware of this. Sometimes after a long day of glopped-up wand work, failed spells, and next no progress at all, he would sit me beside the fire and offer endless words of encouragement. One of those conversations still resonates with me to this day. I never chose you for your ability to learn, Matlock, he told me. I chose you because of who you are now, and the magical hare I know you will be in the future. But there's so much I get wrong, I moaned. So much I glopped at, so much I still have to learn. He pretended to nod and frown sympathetically, the smallest of smiles curling at the corner of his mouth. And that will always be the way, Matlock, you see. You must be the wisest of all hares, for you've learnt so much already. The following day I followed him all over Winchett Dale as he busily tended to creatures' needs and performed all his magical duties. It seemed endless, and I wondered just how I would ever cope when my time eventually came. Tired and weary, we made our way back to the cottage to sit by the fire once more. It's time for you to do something truly magical, he said, and closed the curtains on the day, for we have done enough to the best of our abilities and can be content with that. I closed the curtains, fully understanding this one simple lesson. It was never ours to heal or change the world, never ours to make everything right or better. It was simply ours to do our best. It's a lesson that has stayed with me since, the importance of knowing when to close life's curtains on whatever day or chapter it is. From that day onwards, I began to adjust my expectations, closing the curtains on unrealistic ambitions. I would never be the same as other magical hares, but I would always try to do my best. Every morning I open these same curtains feeling restored and ready to simply play my part to the best of my abilities, and knowing that to close them at the end of the day is just as important too. Allow yourself to close the curtains on the day, knowing you have done all you can, and be content with that. Now, just seeing the other card that I pulled for your pile, Well-Being, makes a lot of sense, and so does Rainbow in Reverse. Now, this is from the deck of Character. So I'm already seeing that perhaps you don't feel like you're doing enough. Maybe you feel like you haven't been efficient enough, or things just aren't working out the way they're supposed to, or you haven't gotten far enough in a project. I'm actually getting a lot of work-related stuff out of here. So let's go ahead and pull some tarot cards. So these have already been shuffled because it's kind of loud on camera. So we're going to go ahead and pull the path for you. Can I get some cards, please, for pile 1? Show the path for the next 3 days. Thank you. This is the Tarot of the Abyss. Okay, so in your current energy, we have Wheel of Fortune. And the energy we're traveling towards is Two of Wands. And then the helpful energy is Queen of Swords. And then the hindrance is Knight of Cups. And then we have Seven of Cups as why we are on this path. Let me get that in frame if I can. Move everything down a little bit. There we go. So I can see that we're actually in an energy right now of things happening to us. The Wheel of Fortune, since it is a major arcana card, I tend to view these types of energies and events as things that are required for us to be on our path, which is usually some form of spiritual leveling up or soul contracts and things like that. So the things that have been happening to you recently are all for a reason. And I am kind of picking up, I mean, obviously with well-being and the rainbow in reverse, that you feel like you keep getting obstacles in your path, that things just aren't turning out the way that they're supposed to. You have made a plan, you have goals, and they're not going the way that they should. And you're starting to feel a little upset about it. The emotions can tend to run a little bit high. And I think because we are getting into a 7 of Cups energy, and I mean, luckily it's not upside down, it's right side up. So for me, that does tell me that you're starting to make a shift up from the balance of the 6s, kind of into the dynamic spiritual growth of the 7s. And with the Cups, that's emotional. But you're being asked to avoid Knight of Cups energy. Now, this can be seen as like a romantic night, a cup of love, but I honestly believe that we're looking at the impetuousness of the knights here. That they're saying don't be quite so brash with your emotions when dealing with what's happening to you. Because right now the Wheel of Fortune is taking you to a crossroads. We're getting to the Two of Wands. And you can see in this in particular, he's searching and he's holding the Two of Wands. I have a feeling that this is a small crossroads for you because this is minor arcana that we're dealing with. You're going to have to make a decision, and you want to make the best decision for you, the most informed decision. And in order to do that, you need to avoid high emotional energy. And instead, what's going to help is the Queen of Swords. Now, the Queen of Swords is still very compassionate. She still has a lot of emotion as the Queen, but she is also able to be thoughtful about everything. She's going to really look into things and be analytical, but in a compassionate, empathetic way. So you can kind of look at both sides of your situation and say, yes, this is happening to me, and things, of course, aren't going my way. My rainbow is upside down. I traveled all the way to the end and I found no gold at the end of the rainbow. But what you have to remember is that's perfectly fine. And these cards are just saying you just need to do the best that you can do and close the end of every day knowing that you did your best and that tomorrow is a new day and a new start. And this is a smaller little blip in your path, but I have a feeling that it's going to lead to some larger major arcana type pathways. So just remember to keep emotions temperate. Make sure that you are thinking before lashing out. Even when things are happening to you that just seem unfair, you need to think it over first and maybe sleep on it before you just react. Okay? All right. Thank you very much, Pile 1, and I hope you have a wonderful next 3 days. Welcome, Pile 2, to your reading for the next 3 days. We're going to be looking at the path that you're on. And the card that you chose is Organize from the Magick Cottage Oracle. And so I also pulled a card from the deck of Character to help clarify, and you got the Dragon upright. So I'm going to read the little snippet in the book from the Magick Cottage first, and then we'll get into the tarot. If, like me, you can sometimes get a little overwhelmed with everything, then believe me, it pays to have an owl like Cridulus overseeing your pantry. Now, if this seems like a most clodabust leap of imagination and logic, then please allow me to explain. Critolus has been self-appointed master of the pantry since long before I first set a tentative leveret's foot inside the cottage. Not even Chatsworth, my master, could tell me how long he has been resident, merely saying the old, almost permanently sleeping owl is one of the cottage's most important members, which I very soon came to realize too. Visitors who ask just how I manage to keep the pantry so well organized are sometimes confused when I simply point to Critolus. He does it, they'll ask. He uses magic? Not that I'm aware of, I'll reply. Then perhaps put a wufflet's egg in their hand, at which point Critolus' sharp talons will drum against the iron hoop of the flour barrel he sits upon. In the bowl, he'll suddenly bark without even opening an eye. Your right, my left, carefully and gently, please. The shocked visitor will do as instructed, and Critolus will return to sleepy silence once more. Next time they have to put eggs in the pantry, they know exactly where they go. And it is the same with everything in the small, shelf-lined room. Critolus organizes it precisely and practically. As a result, it is the one room in the cottage where everything has its place. A spectacular, organized wonder. Like so much of this cottage, Critolus and the pantry live both within and outside of me too. For the real lesson he teaches isn't where to put candles, shrooms, beans, nifs, nuts, and pickled fruits. It is, importantly, to have one space in my mind that I can visit that is just as organized, where everything I need is at a paw or on hand, to you. When there are things I know I must sort out, things I must organize, or can no longer avoid, I go there, closing my eyes and seeing my very own mental pantry, telling myself that now is the time to sort everything out. And yes, perhaps like you, I still sometimes leave things until the very last blink snap. But once I deal with what needs to be done, I leave my own pantry and return to Critolus in the cottage one. It is probably the only time he'll open both eyes and look at me. You'll feel better now it's done and sorted, he'll say. I never answer him, for he is always fast asleep once more. Create a pantry within and without to organize your earthly needs and thoughts, to bring calm into your life. So right off the bat, seeing a lot of red in this card and seeing the dragon, I think we do have a lot of fiery energy. So I think it's very telling that you chose the Caribbean calcite, which is a very calming, soothing stone. There might be a lot of chaos in your life right now, and then doing something like organizing some space within your mind or within your house, even if it's, I will sometimes just try to keep one desk cleared off or the top is kind of clear, will give you some of the peace that you need and help to calm the dragon. But let's go ahead and look into the tarot. These have already been shuffled and everything and cleared from the last pile. Okay. Okay. And this is actually a pretty major, it's not a huge leg of a path that you're on right now. We're doing this because of Queen of Pentacles, which makes me think that you're on a longer journey. Perhaps it has a lot of projects or goals that are quite lengthy, but they're going to lead to your abundance. And perhaps we're just having a little bit of chaos within that. We are starting out with our current energy, death upside down. So death in reverse. We are headed to Three of Wands in upright. What is going to help us is the Wise One. This is the Hierophant in reverse. And what is going to hinder us is Ten of Swords upright. Now, since we are on a path due to Queen of Pentacles, that's automatically making me think of the earthly, the 3D, career, home, family, especially with Queen of Pentacles. This really does make me think a lot of family. So perhaps there's a lot of chaos going on in your family life right now, to the point where you feel like something needs to change, but nothing is changing. What I'm seeing with the death in reverse, death upright usually will mean some sort of transformation is occurring. And you'll see she's kind of coming out of this tree of life, and it almost looks like space in between. It's very ethereal. You can actually even see a little skull at the root. It's kind of very circle of life. but it's upside down, which is making me feel like it is blocked, like your transformation to your next leg of the journey has been blocked. And since you are trying to move to the Three of Wands, which in this one is even depicted with an actual ship in it, we're looking at threes. So that's dynamic from two. It's starting to actually take some dynamic action on something. Wands is very passionate, very creative, very heavily attached to spirit. So it makes me think that you're going to go from not being able to move forward to where you are really able to move forward and take like a little jump start into your journey to be the Queen of Pentacles. Now with the Hierophant in reverse, the Wise One being the energy that's going to help us, makes me think that you need to think outside of the box. It's going to be things that are a little untraditional that are going to help you, which is interesting then that we got the dragon and the pantry. So perhaps you wouldn't think, in order to tame the dragon, I need to organize my pantry. It's very untraditional. It's very outside of the box. But it's something along those lines. It almost might seem a little silly. That's going to help you organize this chaos that you're right now in. What's not going to help you is Ten of Swords, which is the culmination of mental activity. So thinking about it and communicating things logically over and over and over isn't going to work. Whatever you're dealing with right now, you need to look at it in a illogical manner. Don't think that logic and sense is going to win the day, because for some reason it's not going to. And now we're in the Mercury retrograde right now, so it's very possible that there's just some regular delays happening and things, small things constantly getting in your way. But if you're worrying about that and communicating how things are getting in your way, he's covered with swords and there's someone just walking by him, almost looks like he has another sword. Apparently him talking about it is not going to help him, because this guy is carrying a sword as well. He's not going to get anywhere by doing that. He's going to have to think outside of the box to get out of this situation. Talking's not going to work. So you need to do something a bit more interesting, a bit more ancient sleeping owl who knows where everything goes in the pantry. You can even see like a little dragon tail right there. So this is a very cute oracle deck. I absolutely love it. And remember that no matter what happens on your journey, you're on a pretty decent journey to Queen of Pentacles. So you're moving towards great things. You just have to remember to stay calm, keep the dragon calm, and organize your pantry. All right, pile 2. I hope that helped. There we go. Okay. And I hope you have a wonderful next 3 days. Welcome, pile 3, to your reading about the next 3 days and what path you are currently on. The card that you chose ended up being Yield from the Magick Cottage oracle deck. And then the card that I drew for you from the deck of character is the Band-Aid, and it is upright. So we're looking at some sort of positive healing that might be going on. So before we pull the tarot, this is the Tarot of the Abyss. We're going to go ahead and read from the book, from the Magick Cottage. During my many happy years in this crumb-lush cottage, I have always been aware of its own magical life force. I am merely its fortunate custodian, a guest allowed to reside in a living home. The longer I spend here, the more moss I see growing in its thick stone walls, the more I hear its stairs creak, the more I notice its roof slates weathered by storms. I open its windows to the wind, and it breathes. At night, curtains closed, it sleeps as soundly as the rest of us inside. And in so many ways we are one, the cottage creatures and I, yielding to time's magical elements, offering shelter and tending to our needs as best we can. As time has passed, I see so much of myself in this spectacular place. My own creak seemed to chime with each floorboard and wooden stair as I passed by, my youthful days of bounding up and down this very same staircase now a distant memory. Other times, too, rainstorms I might once have run from, I now joyfully yield to, invigorated by the spectacular drama of nature's magic. After, I'll sit wrapped in a blanket by the fire with a warm mug of bottle leaf brew, exhilarated and alive with the experience. Often it is the quietest and simplest of things I yield to, No longer possessing the spring's youthful energy, I am quieter in my autumn years, a time for gathering my thoughts and harvesting the bounteous knowledge and opportunities granted me so far. The young leveret who once so effortlessly bounded through wandwood, vrooshing imaginary creatures with a small hawthorn twig in his paw, has become a magical hare that likes nothing better than to sit and yield to a fresh cleansing wind, watching the washing dance as it dries. Some might argue that to yield is a concession of sorts, but here in Winchet Dale we think of it differently. By yielding to nature, we accept the elements both within and without, fully enjoying the privilege of each and every day we pass in this most sastaculous magical place. We yield because we listen to nature's invitation that constantly surrounds us. Sometimes a visitor might ask me, "How can I yield?" I tell them that the question proves they already have, and that now's the time to find the magical beauty within it. As the years pass and a home yields to the elements and inhabitants within, so can we learn to yield too. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead. This has already been pre-shuffled and cleared from the last pile, so let's go ahead and pull a path, please, for pile 3. Thank you. This card keeps trying to move on me. Okay, so we have Yield, Band-Aid. In our current energy, we have Queen of Pentacles. And the energy we are moving towards is Death. Don't be scared. Death is a good card. All right, what is going to help us is the 10 of Wands in reverse. Something is pushing us. Something is pushing us to yield. And then what is going to hurt us is the Emperor in reverse. And the reason that we're doing this is 4 of Wands. Now, Wands are a very creative, passionate, but also spiritual element. So the 4 of Wands is very, very stable with your inner fire. So it's something that is absolutely necessary to have completely stable 4 corners of something that will build something great, like a creative endeavor or a very passionate relationship. A lot of the times Rider-Waite will do 4 of Wands as like a celebration. It can mean joining of families, things like that. So you are moving towards a very solid space, particularly in your spiritual realm. I do like to think of Wands as more 5D related, where Pentacles will be more 3D. But we actually have, we have some more Wands down here, and the Band-Aid kind of makes even more sense now, because if you look at the 10 of Wands, I tend to read more with the numerology, and then seeing things reverse, I will look at the more negative aspects of the card. So the 10 of Wands would be just the culmination of this inner fire, this inner spirit, this creative spark. But because it was in reverse, I'm now thinking that it's a culmination of chaotic spiritual energy, chaotic creative energy. There is a lot going on and you are feeling very, very overwhelmed. But the thing is, they're saying that this is going to help you. This feeling of chaos and overwhelm where you're just where he's just continuously moving with this. Sorry about that. The camera overheated, even though it's not that hot in here, which is very strange. And 10 of Wands was upside down. But, I mean, Mercury retrograde and cards keep moving around. Stay. It's kind of showing us the things that are going to happen. I was about to say that the 10 of Wands, for me, the 10 of Wands in reverse is a lot about overextending yourself, about having way too much on your plate, too many responsibilities, too many heavy burdens, and it's starting to really drag you down. And you're coming from the Queen of Pentacles, where you're very independent, you're very grounded, and perhaps because you're in such a wonderful, good place, you either took on too much or are taking on too much, or this is just something that's supposed to happen to help get you to the next stage in your life. And because they gave you a band-aid and they want you to yield, they're saying they want you to know that everything is going to be okay and just yield to the burden that you have right now. What you don't want to do is the Emperor in reverse, which is try to control everything. Things are happening to you that are out of your control, and you need to just carry the basket that you are able to carry, the burdens that you are able to handle, and try to move through it, because the place that you are going is death, which is the ultimate transformation. Things are changing for you. You are about to go through some sort of a life-altering change due to all of the responsibility that you have been put under. Now, it may have been you fully accepting this responsibility, or it may be things that have happened where you never thought that it was possible, but moving through this, yielding to everything, will allow you to enter the transformation as peacefully as possible, because this will happen, and you just need to yield to it because it's what's best for you. And it's getting you there because of Four of Wands. So that's stability that you are looking for in perhaps your spiritual journey, since it is the wands. It's going to get you there. And then the smoky quartz as well. I mean, for me, this is a very, very grounding stone. I absolutely adore smoky quartz. And I did just so happen to put some grounding stones on the side. This is a copal resin, and this is a garden quartz. And you are coming from a Queen of Pentacles energy. So perhaps reminding yourself to ground, knowing that everything is going to be fine, ignoring the fire that can come from the Emperor when things aren't going to plan, and because the wands can be fire as well, but staying grounded, putting a band-aid over it, and yielding to it will help get you through this next leg of your journey as peacefully as possible. So hopefully this helped you, pile 3, and you can let me know how things are going for you. And I hope you have a wonderful next 3 days. Thank you.